Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Space Game Junkie podcast. I, as always, am your co-host, Brian. Joining me, as always, is your co-host, Jim.
Fortified with
electrolytes,
vitamins and minerals. And
it's what plants crave. Also joining us is your co-host, Hunter.
Yo, what's up, peeps?
And back in his house after around a week of turmoil is Spaz. Welcome back to your house.
Hello, everybody. The reports of assimilation were greatly exaggerated.
There shall be no fireside chats today.
Oh, God, that's not even... But we are really happy you were able to get back to your house. If you don't know, Spaz lives up in Northern California, and they just had a bevy of wildfires. Like
14 still burning.
Yeah, I was thinking about a dozen. No, Cameron, on YouTube, your audio is low. I am great. Don't tell me my audio is low. No, I'm probably low because I'm super, super tired. And so I probably sound really like, but no, Spaz, yeah, there were tons of fires up there, and major props to all the thousands and thousands of people who
11,000 first responders are working on the fires right now.
That's amazing. So major props to all of them, because that is this term is a little cliched, but it is truly a Herculean effort to keep those fires at bay. And so and the fire is what, about 70% contained right now?
Yeah, about there. And when I checked this morning, it's about 77% contained. The one closest to me, which is the Atlas Fire,
right,
the largest of them.
Right.
And some of the others are 90%, some are 40%, but it varies depending on how much progress they've made.
But like some stats just before we begin, about 90,000 people are homeless right now.
Up to, there's still about 35,000 as I checked this morning who are still displaced. That doesn't necessarily mean homeless, but
right,
they just had to evacuate.
And how many structures were destroyed? Thousands in the 5,000 structures, I think I heard last time.
Something like that.
And
the death toll is 40 plus. It's about 42 last I checked. It's devastating.
Yeah.
So there's places where there was a town here and gone.
Yeah. Oh, completely. Like a nuclear bomb went off. That's what it looks like. Just nothing left except foundations.
Apocalyptic does.
Yeah. Like all you see are foundations. All you see are foundations and chimneys. That is all you see, and it looks utterly terrible. So Spaz, we are very happy that your house survived, that your family's okay, that you're okay. So that was sorry about that side note, folks. We're just very happy that our friend is all right. So we just wanted to and all that. So thank you. But we do have a guest this week joining us from Vancouver, and I'm gonna try not to butcher it. But Bruno de Araujo.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's me.
Yay! Of a solid mesh.
Call him by his stripper name, Cinnamon.
Yeah, just come up. Yeah, just call me something. I don't know.
Every time I think of Bruno, I think of that character on The West Wing. So that's what I'm going to think of now whenever I say your name. Great character.
Exactly who I am.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, folks, we are here tonight to talk about the Nightstar series of games, mostly Nightstar Rogue Wing, because
Nightstar was taken.
Oh, because no. Oh my, it's true. But the one Nightstar game is VR only. That's the first one, and I don't have VR. So has anyone here played it? Besides, obviously, you, Bruno. Have any of you guys played it?
I have heard of it.
Yeah, I haven't played it.
That's to which we.
Bruno and I spent some quality time, like going over flight model-y stuff and whatever.
Am I right that Nightstar looks kind of like a top-down VR Galaga type game, like old school,
not like a
arcade?
Yes, so it's 100% like an old school kind of game, but it's not top down. You're actually immersed in this. So my idea with it was to create a game where you can go inside like an arcade machine and you're actually holding the ship in your hand. So it's kind of Galaga, but not top down.
Zaxxon, like that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, you could do a Zaxxon level, like reproduce one of the levels of Zaxxon, just kind of like nudge when we know what that is. But also, did you ever play Gyrus?
I did not.
Oh, okay. So Gyrus was kind of kind of a Space Invaders-y thing, except instead of the AL. Okay, do you remember Tempest? Okay, so imagine Tempest, but you're in a spaceship, and the enemies come up from the hole in the center of the screen.
Oh, okay.
Kind of in patterns come up. So, but they move in patterns like Galaga, but they come from the center and then exit out the rim.
That is
the place you go through. So it would be almost like you need basically a tunnel that the player flies down or something. That's almost like a black hole or
No, that's pretty much what my game actually is. Like if you don't have VR, you can look at videos on YouTube and it's exactly that. Like you're in this kind of like you're in space, but the game to the game you're in a tunnel and enemies keep coming at you from the center kind of.
Oh my gosh. Well, there you go. You need to play Bach and then just have it say like 2 warps to Neptune and you're there. It's Gyrus, man.
Okay, I'll take a look at that for sure.
So Cameron on YouTube says, Poe Compton in the house, Asian Vancouver guy knows. Is that an inside joke for someone in Vancouver?
I have no idea what he's talking about.
I don't either.
Vancouver's full of Asians. Maybe that's I don't know.
Oh, really? Okay. But the game we have played is Nightstar Rogue Wings, which is an Unreal-powered arcade shoot 'em thing where you're a mercenary and you collect money for everything you kill. Basically, give us like the rundown of what this game is.
So this game is it's like we were talking earlier. It's a lot like Rogue Squadron, Star Wars game. It's got a lot of Star Fox in it also, and on the story side is more like like I'm trying to get that Firefly vibe, kind of like mercenaries trying to get by and trying to complete the next mission and that kind of stuff. But eventually, of course, they're faced with a bigger issue or a bigger thing they have to do to save the galaxy, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's basically it.
And basically, when you do these missions, it looks like you get money. I didn't really get a chance to play with. There is a kind of a meta game where you get money and you can upgrade stuff on your ships. How does that work?
So that's it's a very simple upgrade mechanic where basically what you do is you try to get as much money as you can from each enemy. They drop this. So money in this universe is like parts. So it's not like a normal currency, but basically what you're doing is you're trying to collect as much as you can of that, and then you can exchange that for upgrades for your ship.
All right, and I didn't really get a chance to play with that, but what kind of upgrades are we talking about? New guns, new engines?
So if you go to the there's actually a hangar module that is right now, but it's like on. It's still like a work in progress, but you can take a look at it. It's on the early access version.
It's in the main menu.
Yeah, it's in the main menu. And the way it works is basically you can customize your ship and basically like buy new weapons or buy new engines. And there's also I'm taking my time to do this because I want the each part to have like a real trade-off kind of thing. So it's not like, the more expensive one is always better than the previous one. It's just like a different type of upgrade. It's kind of hard to explain. Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain that, but I'm trying to get it to the point where you can actually customize the ship to your play style kind of thing, and not just like grind to get the better ship ever.
Oh, nice. Now I did want to mention one thing. I love how the fighter looks like the GTF Apollo from Descent Free Space. It really, really, really looks like that. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I love that ship. That's probably my favorite ship in that game. So when I started playing this, like, oh my god, it's the Apollo. Oh my god,
I am a big fan of Free Space too, and there's definitely some reference from the game in this one also.
And I have to say, even though you're using the Unreal Engine, which has kind of been hit or miss for a lot of things, like we've played some Unreal games, it's like, not only does your game feel great, but for a flight game, it feels really great.
It looks great.
Yeah,
thanks, guys.
It does look great. But how much work have you put in toward tweaking the is this a flight model? Like, does Unreal allow? Like, how does Unreal work when it comes to flying?
Unreal, yeah, the way it works is like Unreal comes with a flight template kind of thing, and most people use that, but it's not bad. It's just not ideal, you know. And for this game, I created my own like flight mechanic from scratch, and that's why it's different from other Unreal flying games.
Right. It does feel very fluid, very spaceshipy, which is really nice because you basically are kind of flying a spaceship type thing, which and so it feels meaty. It feels floaty and meaty at the same time, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and I was also going for like this more like I didn't want to make like a simulator. I wanted to be like more arcade focused, and that's also a reason why I decided to make my own flight model instead of using the pre-existing one.
And it's funny because you have a cockpit view that I don't really use, but you say it's not a simulator, but you totally have a cockpit view if someone wants it.
I do, yeah. It's because of the visuals. It's just because it looks freaking awesome.
It does look awesome.
It does indeed.
Yeah, can't argue with that one bit.
I gotta say one thing. One of my favorite things about this game so far is the explosions. The explosions.
Oh
are gosh darn tastic. And
because they're big and meaty and they're like, brr. Yeah, I like them.
The thing that sticks out to me was the first mission where it just drops you in the middle of the city where you got to protect these buildings, which is very Rogue Squadron like, and you've got these things on the ground, these like tanks you got to blow up, which are very Walkers like, Rogue Squadron like. I love it, and it's got this like rock music playing in the background, and I was so into it. Oh god, I was so into it.
Yeah, that's exactly like what I was trying to achieve there is like you're in the middle of this. There is like it's pure action. You're gonna be seeing a lot of explosions. Yeah, it's a kind of like Star Wars thing also, but not necessarily. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it's not Star Wars, but like it's that same kind of play style. And quite frankly, I don't feel like the space game genre has enough of that kind of play style.
It really doesn't. No.
And that's just fun. Like, you're just, it's arcadey, kind of simmy, but not too simmy, but not too arcadey. It's just like this fun, it's objective based. And
it has a good balance.
Yeah, it's got a great balance.
Those features. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt like. And that's what I felt like Rogue Squadron had, which was a great balance, which you just don't get.
Yeah, Hunter, you're absolutely right. I didn't really think of that, but I mean, there are a lot of like Free Space 2, for example, isn't like a serious simulation, but at the same time, it kind of leans in that direction with the multitude of targeting options and energy management and all that stuff, which is all great. But sometimes you just want to get in a thing and shoot stuff. And this is a really nice game for someone who's looking for that kind of Rogue Squadron feel, which is really great. So how long have you been working on this thing?
So I started. I was making prototypes since like last year, but it was like very very early. It wasn't supposed to be a real game. I was just like playing around and seeing what I could do. But I really started like in, I think it was March. So
wait, of this year?
Yeah.
Wait, this game isn't even a year old.
No, it's not. It's pretty.
Holy garbage! It feels it feels older than that. It feels far more. I'm not gonna say complete, obviously, because it's not complete, but it feels
polished,
more
I'd say.
Polished, robust. Yeah, something like that, where it doesn't feel like something that like is in like an alpha or pre-alpha state.
Well, yeah, but he's got a lot of prior work in the first game, right? That can come.
This is true.
And then and then also Unreal, from what I understand of it, is really good at like rapid prototyping of stuff, because
it's great for for rapid prototyping. And that's basically how it happened. Like I was making prototypes, because I always come up with like crazy game ideas, and I'm like, can I do this? And then if it's something fun, it ends up becoming more and more serious, and becomes a game like this.
Hello.
Hi. I feel like I'm losing connection, guys. You guys hear me?
I'm still here. I don't know if Brian was talking or not.
Yeah, there was like 30 seconds of just silence for me.
Yeah, I don't know what happened either.
Sorry, let me switch servers.
All right.
All right, so I switched servers. Hopefully that'll be a little better for us. We're having some internet issues, folks. We dropped a lot of frames. So I don't know what's going on. Probably Steam is doing its update thing. But we seem to have stabilized out now. Hopefully that'll be okay. So I was saying, right now you have how many missions in the early access version?
So I think there are 5 on the early access. On the early access right now. There will be about 7 in the end game, so it's getting there. It's almost there. It's not going to be like a super incredibly long game.
Right.
I really want people like to replay the same mission more than once to find like new stuff, and try the mission again with new weapons and this kind of stuff. So there's going to be a lot of replayability on each mission.
Is that what on the Steam page you have a bullet point that says dynamic open world missions? Is that the kind of thing you're talking about?
That is like, if this was a Kickstarter, that would be like a stretch goal.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I really want to do it, but I don't know if I'm gonna have I don't know if it's going to be really possible, but I really want to do it.
Yeah, because I did like one thing in a couple missions I played where the objectives change mid-mission. I really like that.
Yeah, you're gonna see a lot more of that in the upcoming missions now.
Oh, good. And are missions gonna get longer, or are they gonna stay fairly short and concise? Like, they seem to be about 10 minutes each.
Yeah, they're about 10 minutes each. Maybe like the longer ones are like 15 to 20 minutes, but they're not gonna be much longer than that.
That's still pretty good. I mean, you're getting about a movie's worth of entertainment right there.
Yeah,
and
it's like,
something you can replay.
Exactly. It's like, it's supposed to be, fun. You have to try it a couple of times to get through it. It's not like I'm not making Witcher 3 or anything like that. It's just a fun game to play for a bit.
Right. And I like how now the missions right now, I couldn't tell if there was like an overarching story or a narrative.
Yes. No, there is. It's that's one of the things that's going to get more like polished in the future. But they are like following a certain arch. That's some things are happening, and when I actually present that to the player, that's going to make a lot more sense. Why they are on these places? Why they are like, in this case, like I'm seeing you playing on mission 2 now. You're like rescuing this guy. It's going to make a lot more sense on like why you're doing this.
Yeah, because like I'm like, why are we rescuing this guy? I'm like, okay, we'll rescue him. And in the third mission, it's like, why is this guy on this ship? I don't know, but I have to protect it. Okay, sure, I'll do that.
Yeah, there's also like another thing that is, I don't have any like voice actors working with me right now, and I of course, like, all the voices in the game are like me and my wife. So we are actually looking for like voice talents to join us, because we do have like it's not a super complex story, but there are gonna be some like a much more voice in the game, basically.
That's cool.
And just to answer the guy on the YouTube, he just asked something about Vancouver, and he was talking about like startups and stuff. So I would say the best place for startups right now is definitely New Westminster.
Okay. I was having issues with my push to talk. I apologize. So no, oh God. What was I gonna say? Oh, so yeah.
Why New Westminster? Is it like Texas?
No, it's like it's a smaller city, like right next to Vancouver. It's like in the Vancouver, Greater Vancouver area, and they have like they just finished like laying out the infrastructure for like really good internet and this kind of stuff in the entire city. So that's attracting a lot of companies there now. But just answering that guy because he asked a random question.
It was pretty random. No, I was gonna say, but my push to talk wasn't working. I'd rather have just plain text than bad voice acting. So don't stress too much about the bad voice acting.
Yeah, one thing about that
music more than anything.
Yeah, more music, less. Don't need the voice acting. I was playing a game.
Yeah, the one thing about that is that the one thing about the text is that it takes your attention away from the action.
Oh,
and that kind of makes me like, I don't know if I want to put that much text.
That's fair. Now, I was playing a game recently that had just the writing was pretty bad too, but the voice acting was utterly atrocious. Like,
okay,
like I've heard Eastern European games from 2005 that did a better job with the voice acting than this game. and oh my God, it was terrible. So I see what you're getting at, but I would say don't stress about it so much.
Yeah. There is I always forget about the name of the game. I think it's like a Russian game or something, and it's from about like 2004, 2005. It's a space game that had like really interesting
Star Wolves acting. Was it Star Wolves?
I don't remember the name right now, but it was just like
it was probably Darklight Conflict.
It was either Star Wolves. No. It was either Star Wolves
goes way back.
Or yeah,
Darklight. Damn it! Hold on.
Darkstar 1.
Well, Darkstar 1 wasn't terrible, but there was another one. It was like Dark Nebula or Dark something
like that. Yeah, that Dark Nebula maybe.
Oh God, I'll have to look.
But
I
think it was like Russian or something. I don't know, but it was interesting.
Tar Chronicles.
No, this is like the prequel to Tar Chronicles. It's
right,
related.
Which is Dark Sector. Right?
That's it.
No, that was
Dark something.
Dark Sector. That was Dark Horizon.
There you go.
Yes, Dark Horizon.
Published
by the weirdest. That's why I love that game.
Published by Paradox.
All of the writing in that thing. It sounds like you're drunk and you're watching an episode of Lex backwards. It's just like, what the fuck are they talking about? I have no idea. It's awesome.
It's bad crap. It's utterly bad crap. Like it's like.
Well, what's great about it is that they talk about all this weird crap, and they have like it's English, but it's a different language, right? So they're talking about stuff, and they don't explain any backstory or anything.
None of it. None of it.
It's just like the Merc is something, and Are we engaged? Yes. The Winga meter is at 10. Okay. Excellent. Execute. And it's like, what the hell are they talking about? I don't know, but it's cool, and I got to play this so I can figure out what they're talking about. So it's kind of interesting though. But yeah, it's this stuff, the Merc, right, which is basically just like darkness has started spreading across the galaxy and just like consuming everything. And they're
another great game
trying to fight it back, but it's also a very it's like nobody's good guys in that thing. It's just like yeah,
it's a terrible game that makes no sense.
I love it.
It's not a good game. I can understand why you love it.
You can get it on Amazon for $10. Can't
you get it on Gamersgate as well? I think
I don't talk to Gamersgate because they're still open.
I know, but that's where I got it many years ago. Anyway, back to Nightstar. So now you have 2 games in this series. Are you planning like a continuation? Is it going to be like more games? Are you going to add to this one? Like, do you have like a larger plan for the Nightstar franchise, as it were?
So, kind of like there is definitely more stuff happening on the universe while this is happening. but I kind of want to experiment with other things after this for a while. So I don't have anything like official to say about that right now.
I'd like to make a suggestion for a spacey real-time strategy game, similar to maybe Homeworld, but in this universe. That would be. I think that would work really, really well for this setting. I don't know why.
In terms of story, yeah.
Yeah, in terms of the story, in terms of I think the look and everything, I think that would work. I don't know. I think that would work really, really well. That's just my suggestion.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm a big fan of Homeworld. I actually made a few prototypes for like it's a VR real-time strategy game in this universe.
How would that work? Oh, nice. How would a VR real-time strategy? I mean, do you use a mouse with VR? I mean,
no. You're like walking around the space. You have like the map in front of you, and it's like miniature, of course.
So it's like you're watching little dudes run around on a table.
Yeah, and they're like little ships, and they're flying around you and that kind of stuff.
Have you seen the VR version of Air Mech? Because I think that's doing a killer job. It's whenever VR first started coming out, I was like, I hope that they enable a way to play, like the older games, which Vorpex does. But it's a thing of like, look at a game like StarCraft, right? If I could play StarCraft looking down at it, like a bunch of toys running around, right? It would be wonderful.
So exactly, that's exactly what I'm thinking with, or this prototype that I made for Nightstar VR real-time strategy was exactly like that. But it's not just like you're not looking down, it's around you. It's like it's happening, you're in the middle of this thing, and you're like controlling the ships and all that, but it's happening around you.
Okay, that sounds crazy and awesome and disorienting.
Not really, because like it is like actually how your brain sees things, right? Like in real life, so it kind of makes sense. And you're not teleporting around or doing anything like that. So
it's true.
It works kind of well.
So I'm gonna ask, how do you feel about VR currently? Do you feel it has a viable future? Do you feel it's? I mean, you have a VR game, so I know you're probably a little bit, biased, but.
Yeah, no, that is right. I fucking love VR.
Okay. Tell me why, because I don't get it. I don't have VR myself. My computer can't run it. But why do you love VR? Why do you love it?
There is absolutely nothing like it. That's the first thing. There is no better way of like actually getting you immersed. When I'm playing, like I play a lot of Elite Dangerous with my Vive. And I cannot go back to like regular monitors because I don't feel like I'm inside the ship anymore. So this is the kind of stuff that is like, oh no, this is the real deal. This is how it's supposed to be. So especially for for space games, it's fantastic.
What's interesting about that, and we've had discussions here many times on Space Game Junkie, not just like on the show, but behind the scenes, about VR, and we all have a very strong feelings about it.
Mm-hmm.
I personally see the appeal of it, and I personally have tried VR, and I do enjoy it. My only gripe about VR is it's such an expensive price point of entry for a very small market.
Yeah, that's what worries me about it. That's
the only thing that I dislike about it. Like I do appreciate what it's doing. I do appreciate the games. I've enjoyed the games that I've played in VR. I just I made the joke the other day. It's just like, $400 you can get the whole like Oculus Rift set, and you can play all the VR games. I'm like, well, $400 can also build me a budget gaming computer for like friends to come play on. Yeah. So it's just kind of like, I get the appeal of VR, but God, it's still so niche.
It's definitely an expensive toy to have, and especially when you have to buy all of them to test your game on.
Well, and I definitely don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it, but
no, it's expensive, but it's something that is extremely new and like cutting edge technology, and it's the only type of product in the world that does this kind of thing, that creates that kind of immersion.
I have a question about legacy games, because we have like thousands of games in our Steam libraries, but very few are VR. And a lot of the VR stuff is an experience, not so much a game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's exceptions, but most of it is just like, well, you do a thing. All right, I did it, you know, and you need to go back. But some of the classic stuff, like if I could go back and like, oh, well, MechWarrior 4, which I installed and was playing the other night. It's like, man, if I could play that in VR, that'd be the bomb. Well, and with Vorpex and stuff, you kind of can, right? And it
but it
helps, right? And but that's the shortcoming. So one thing that I've noticed with the PlayStation VR on the PlayStation is you can play any damn PlayStation game you own in the VR thing, and what it does is it kind of virtual theaters it.
Yep.
But it also actually does the stereo separation stuff, right? So your games, even though, you know, a game not VR done, it still has the stereo depth, right?
Yeah.
So with the Vive, if you do the virtual theater thing where you play a game like in the, you know, in the Vive theater, does it also do the stereo separation, or is it just like flat on the wall?
I think it's all flat on the wall, like you're just like sitting on a cinema screen kind of thing.
So you're not really getting any benefit from the thing.
No. But like in VR, like you kind of have to let go of that idea of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play MechWarrior and this kind of stuff. If you really want to play in VR, then the game needs to be made for VR, which is a thing. And
well, the thing that I want, right, is like, remember they sold the 3D glasses. I mean, they still make them, but you know, it's like you need a 120 hertz monitor, which is why I don't have one.
Yeah.
But if you have a 120 hertz monitor, it's liquid shutter stuff, and then it takes any game that's on your screen and pops it into 3D. Yeah, that's what I want out of VR. I don't care about the head tracking. I don't care about the immersion. I just want to play games with the 3D stereo depth, and I'm trying to find a way to arrive at that without, because the way that VR works, right, is you smash the resolution horizontally in half. So you end up with, instead of a 16:9, you get an 8:9. And then you have to get the game to conform to that. If you have any kind of interface elements and stuff, Vorpex will bring them in, right? So they're not cut off. But otherwise, the view portal is actually kind of round, square, and therefore a bunch of your stuff will get cut off in the corners, right? It's like cutting the corners off of everything. So if games aren't meant for it, because you have to, all the VR games bring the interface dead center, right? Which, you know, whenever, even for the guys that haven't played any VR stuff, but whenever we were playing the Eve Valkyrie, the way that interface worked, that's textbook example of how all the interfaces work in VR. And it when you're trying to do it with a mouse, it's painful, right? But
that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, VR is not a different monitor screen.
Yeah, it's a whole different.
Is a monitor screen,
right? It's a whole different design of
it's an entire new animal for gaming. Like it's something that people are still like figuring out how to use and what to do with it, and that's why like a lot of it are just experiences.
So you play Elite and I play Elite, but I play it on a flat screen and you don't, right?
Well,
so the game can accommodate both, and
it is possible. No, definitely, it is possible, but it's not a rule for all games. Like, you're not going to be able to play, you know, every game in your library in VR just using that kind of like conversion kind of thing, which is what they did with Elite. Most games, and like
whenever I run like Grand Theft Auto 5 through Vorpex, I do get that, right? Because it transforms it enough. It ain't perfect, but
exactly. It's not
close enough,
made for
right? For that. Oh, yeah, absolutely, right. And it's a thing. Like, if you buy a VR headset thinking I'm going to play all my old classic stuff and screw this new VR stuff, you're going to be disappointed. But if you buy it for the VR stuff, and then it's like, oh, and I can still screw around with. Let me see if I can get this old game working in VR.
Yeah,
right?
And that's more like how I feel about it. Yeah, that's more like how I feel about it. Is like, I bought it for, you know, I wanted to develop for it, and I also wanted to try all the new games that were coming out that were like, you know, exclusives for VR because they were made for VR. But I definitely did try a bunch of like Vorpex solutions Like for instance on Alien Isolation, there's a mod now that converts the game, or that makes the game VR. Let's use the Vive.
Oh no, thank you.
Oh, good.
No,
because
no, thank you. No,
it's pretty crazy. It's like there's nothing like it.
Nope, it's good.
Brian doesn't like aliens jumping at his face.
Nope, I do not.
Sensitive to scary things.
I really don't.
It's too spoopy.
I did want to ask you. You said you bought all the headsets because you're developing for them. Which one do you like the best out of all the rigs?
The Vive.
Well, do you have a PlayStation VR?
Yes.
If I could get the Vive performance in a PlayStation VR comfort, that would be.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Vive is not as comfortable as the PlayStation VR. You are right, but overall experience, the Vive 100%.
Yeah, I mean the hardware is better, and
it's like not just better; it's like incredibly better.
Yeah, because it's got the room scale stuff too.
Do you think that's the one that's going to win the format war, as it were?
You know why they're going to win? Because they're totally open to like anyone that wants to work with them.
Right, you don't have to kiss their ass to get in there.
Yeah, store. Like that's the first thing, and then also like Valve just announced that they are opening the platform, so you like any company now can produce their own headsets using their technology for free.
Yep, and that's why VHS instead of Betamax. We learned that lesson in the 80s. So yeah.
And Oculus is still like living in the past. It's like, oh no, I'm gonna keep this platform closed. I'm gonna be an asshole about this, and I'm gonna have my own store because I want to make
So if I was gonna buy one of these things today, which I'm not, but if I was, you would suggest to get a Vive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's absolutely no reason to get any other headsets right now.
Oh wow.
Or you could get one of those cheap Chinese $20 things that you shove your phone,
which is not a proper VR.
That doesn't sound great. That doesn't sound.
No, I tried and tried and tried.
What's it called? Android View or something? What is that one called?
So I use that.
Is the basis of
you've tested that one too.
Yeah, it's not great.
Oh
yeah.
Man.
So is the Samsung Gear VR deal? That's
what
like
the Samsung
really
Gear
a step?
Is. Oh yeah, okay. That is
it
the one,
a step up? Is it a step up from the Google Cardboard kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just a fancy holder for the card. It still acts like cardboard, but it's a fancy.
Oh no, it still acts like cardboard
holder. Yeah. So it's
a step up would be.
It's got those limitations.
Yeah, a step up would be Google's Daydream device.
Never heard of it.
So Daydream is like it's basically a cardboard that gives you, well, it's not cardboard anymore. It's like made of plastic and cloth, and it's really nice looking. And it also gives you like a little controller with like motion controls. So it's pretty cool, and you use your phone to play with it.
I've seen this like on Android, but I never knew what the hell it was. This Daydream.
Yeah,
thing.
no, I have one here, and it's a very interesting device.
Oh, that's pretty neat. I mean, I'm going to upgrade next year. That's my plan. And I probably will get a VR rig. And I was also probably leaning toward the Vive as well. Because it looks like the one with the most support, really. Out of all the VR games.
And you know, like how there's always like a difference between, Apple and Android devices. And
sure.
Apple being all closed and Android being all open and letting you do stuff with your own equipment.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I see this too, is like Oculus is definitely the Apple of VR.
Oh, so I definitely want the Vive then, because I'm an Android. Yeah. I'm a super Android guy.
Oh, you're an Android. So yeah, it's like every time you're trying to develop something for like Apple devices, there's a bunch of like, permissions and you can't do that because you think you own the device, but you don't really. So this kind of stuff happens a lot, and with the Vive and the Oculus, I feel like that all the time. Like if I'm doing something for the Oculus, is like always a pain in the ass.
Well, as an end user, the reason that I ejected from the Apple ecosystem was because it's like, oh, you want to put an MP3 on your phone so you can listen to it? Yeah, so you got to tether your phone up to your laptop and then start iTunes. And then push it through iTunes. Oh, do you want to put a Word document? Yeah, same deal. So everybody was like, well, let's just like integrate Dropbox support or something like that. So then it's like I got to push all my stuff through a third party web, like a cloud vault to get it into my phone. It's like, this is ridiculous. Why can't I just open it like a thumb drive and push the files on? And Android lets you do that. So done. I was there.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, you don't really own anything with Apple. It's not yours. It's still theirs.
That's really annoying. So, what would you say is the best VR game you've played? You sound like you've played a lot of them. What would you say is the best one you've played?
Yeah. So the game I played most in VR is definitely Elite. But like specifically VR games, I love. There's this game called Gorn, and it's like you play as a gladiator, and it's got like ridiculous graphics and physics, and it's a lot of fun to play. So that's the one I play. Like,
that looks really great. Actually, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
That looks
really
it's fun.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun, and it's a hell of a workout. Because you're actually like fighting all these like gladiators coming at you, and
now is that a game where you stand stationary, or can you actually move around?
You can move around, but
because a lot of people are designing, like when I saw how they were making the VR version of Doom. Yeah. And they're like, so you point over there and you hit the button and you teleport, because if you have to actually walk, then you puke. And it's like, I'm immune to that.
No, puke. It's not like you have to walk, you puke. It's like if you have to use any sort of like in-game controls to move your character and your body's not moving, your brain is going to be like, oh, wait, I'm seeing things that I'm not actually experiencing. So I might be poisoned. And that's why you get nausea.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because it's almost like your brain perceives this parallax of like the world is moving, but it's not. So but it's just I think probably years of video games have rotted my brain to the point where I just don't suffer that. So
okay,
and also if you're playing a game where you're in a cockpit of some sort, then you have a stable reference around you.
Exactly.
And you're immune.
That's because if you have like a good frame of reference, as you said, near you, the motion sickness like rarely happens.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you a homework assignment, and you have to report back to me on this.
What is it?
If you grab the Dolphin emulator, and then legally obtain the Metroid Prime.
I've done that.
Right, you've done it.
Done that.
Because the thing of Samus's helmet, just having the helmet around the edges of the screen, from what I understand, like completely takes the butterflies away from people.
Yep.
And but how did you enjoy that? Actually, try
No, it actually works kind of well. I'd say again, it's not a game that was made for VR. It was something that was converted into VR, so it's not like perfect, but it's fun. It works.
Yeah, I hope you don't mind us talking about VR a bit besides your game, but it's something. I'm not gonna say it's contentious, but it's something that we do talk a lot about because we're like, hey, this game looks interesting. Oh, VR only. Damn it.
No. And it's a new, it's a new technology that's coming out, and something that people are like, "Oh, what can you do with this?" and all that. So it's pretty awesome. Like I've had so many people asking me, "Why doesn't this game has VR support?" And I'm like, "It's the answer is actually very simple. Like I'm pushing the graphics all the way up here, and VR cannot support it right now."
Oh, okay. So Rogue Wings has no VR support.
Not yet, and I might have something in the future, but I don't know. It's another stretch goal.
Fair enough.
Yeah, totally fair enough. I mean, it's probably a lot. I would think it's probably a lot of work making a 2D game into VR compatible. I would think.
Yeah, there are tools and things that help you with that, but it's not as easy as just switch on the VR checkbox on Unreal. That's not how it works.
I'm gonna ask you one more question about VR. Have you played Euro Truck Sim 2 in VR?
No, I did not.
Oh.
I have never played that game actually.
Oh, that game is so good. So
really? Is it like, can it be classified as a game really?
Yeah, it's like if you could play Elite in a truck.
I'm just kidding.
and honestly, what I want is Euro Truck in Elite. That's all I want.
Oh, wouldn't that be
for
great?
Them to give me some, dude. Okay, so Euro Truck has all the stuff going on as far as like you own the business. You have to pay rent for a garage and you upgrade the parts on the truck, but you also have to pay maintenance on the truck. And that's the thing in Elite you don't have to do. It's like my spaceship. If I get it tore up, I got to pay for it. But just flying.
And you have to like refuel it and this kind of stuff.
Yeah, you have to refuel. You have to sleep. You can turn that off, but you do it. You need to rest. Yeah. And the missions,
in Elite, the price of fuel is 0 because you get a fuel scoop. But even if you have to fill the gas tank up, it costs like pennies, right? So it's a non-thing. But whenever you're playing this truck simulator, it's like you have to look like, okay, what am I going to get paid per mile, and how much fuel is it going to eat per mile? And that's really what I'm
so there's more like a managing.
Exactly.
There's definitely there's definitely a management element to it that makes it super compelling because you have a company to run, and you need to bring in funds, through missions. You drive your own truck, or you can drive someone else's.
That's cool.
It's
I love that aspect on games, like managing stuff. I've been playing a lot of Planet Coaster myself, and it's like I don't care about the park part. I just like to manage stuff.
It's not very good management, that game. That's the problem with that. No,
it's kind of simple. It's
too simple. I think like I love like Roller Coaster Tycoon and stuff where you're like, you're setting up areas for your janitors to cover and stuff like that. I love like optimizing the park. Planet Coaster's like, no, just build stuff.
No, you can do that. You can like, set up areas for your workers and like optimize your park.
It feels so half-assed compared to the rest of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I definitely hope they improve on that because it definitely needs some work.
It really does. I really want to get Parkitect because apparently that's what they're focusing on.
So Steam keeps pushing that thing on my face. I'm like, I might get it at some point.
yeah, I really have my eye on that. I've had my eye on that one for a while. Cool. So you said back to your game.
Yeah, we're here to talk about Nightstar.
Right. I know, but we have varied interests. Cool. We have varied interests. So basically, you have 5 missions now. You're planning on 7. Where is the replayability? You did mention there is going to be replayability. Where is that going to come from? Different ship loadouts, score chasing. Where do you see the replayability coming from?
I think most of it's going to come from the medal system. So every time you finish a mission, you get a medal. You can get a better medal if you do better, and if if you can set up the ship on a way you actually feel like more comfortable with, and you can play better with that ship. I think that's where the replayability is coming from. It's also like it's fun to fight these guys. Like I'm making a bunch of bosses and stuff, and it's actually like a lot of fun to fight them. So I think people are just going to want to replay this because it's literally just fun.
Yeah, it is fun, and the missions are very quick and varied, which is nice. And again, the explosions are just so satisfying. They really are. Things just have a nice weight to them when they blow up. Mm-hmm. You know what else I love? The machine gun. What do you call it in the game? I forget what you call it. You call it
which one of them?
The one, I think it's one of the early ones, but it's like this really weighty machine gun. It sounds like.
I think it's just like heavy something heavy.
Yeah, it's like it sounds like you're shooting chains. It sounds like you're like.
Yes, I know what it's talking about.
Yeah,
so when you get the upgrade, it's like it's so.
Yeah, it sounds like you're shooting chains out of your gun, and it really sounds.
It would be a literal chain gun.
Yeah,
exactly. Wow. Yeah, and I could tell like how much work have you put into the sound design, because like Hunter was saying earlier, the music is great, the weapons sound great, the explosions sound great. So I mean, I'm sure Unreal has great sound, but how much work have you also added to the sound design?
So for the sound design, what I do is I buy all my sound assets from like various sources, and I try to mix them up like combine them. And that's where the sound design comes from. It's not very complicated, actually. It's like just, oh, this sounds good and satisfying, and this other one sounds, sci-fi-ish, and this other one sounds like a nice little explosion that I could add to this. So now this is a new sound for the machine gun. That's kind of how it works for me.
That's pretty cool. I mean, it sounds like it sounds like how they did like back in the old Trek days when they would like take the sound of something and slow it down.
Yeah, so slowing down, and I mean making sounds faster or like louder and quieter and this kind of stuff, and mix them up together, and basically combining all these sounds just gives you like so many nice results, and it works really well. And that's how like real sound designers do it. So I'm like, why not do it?
Yeah, because again, that machine gun sound is probably my favorite sound in the entire game. It's just
nice.
Oh, it's so great.
I like, speaking of like sounds and stuff on movies and games, I like how like on Alien, that sound that the alien makes is just like a sped up elephant noise.
Really?
Like, it works really well. Yeah, like the alien scream like wee kind of thing. It's like, it's just a sped up elephant sound.
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love
kind of cool to the elephant though. I mean,
yeah.
Get him all hopped up.
I love when you hear stuff like that. So you said you had like these quote unquote stretch goals. So if the game, and let's hope it does well upon release, are you planning DLC? Are you planning like expansions?
No.
Okay.
No, there will be no DLC. It's all going to be like, it's all included on the game. All the future expansions it's going to be all in there.
It's probably good, actually.
Pay for more stuff or anything.
That's probably good, actually, because it's nice to get a game and be done with it. Like, not done with it, but you know what I mean. Like, not get the season pass.
Yeah, no, I understand why big companies do it. I honestly don't see a reason why I will do it. So I'm good with this model. It's just like, buy the game once, you get all the upgrades, you get all the future content. I'm also not promising a lot of like, there's going to be a new campaign coming after this or anything like that. Right. But there might be some like new content coming after the game is released, and that's going to be all included.
I could see the soundtrack being DLC.
Oh, I would buy the soundtrack.
Aside from that. Yeah, see, I like buying soundtracks. I have bought many soundtracks.
Right.
That's really cool, and that's one of the things that I'm talking to the guys who are working on the soundtrack, and that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, we're big fans of game music around here. Big fans of game music, and the music in your game is very 300-ish. It reminded me of a little bit. So
it's supposed to be like action.
It's appropriately epic.
Yeah, very appropriate. Very appropriate music. So do you do this full time? Do you do this full time, or is this a part-time thing?
So it's weird. Right now,
okay.
So I just left my job as so I used to work at this place as an interactive developer, which is something weird to explain, but basically I used to do like installations and stuff for museums and shopping malls and this kind of stuff.
Oh, like kiosks, so like informational to like touchscreen kiosks, that type of thing.
Yeah, this kind of stuff, and also like interactive art installations that would require like some weird technologies and stuff. That's the kind of thing I was involved with. But now I left that job, and I am going to focus for the next 3 weeks or so on Nightstar, trying to get that as as close to finish as I can. And after that, I'm starting on actually like a real game company here in Vancouver.
Oh, cool.
Awesome. So wait, are you gonna make Solid Mesh like a full-time, like your company, or are you starting in another game company?
No, I'm joining a different game company.
Oh, can you say which one?
Yes, it's actually Offworld, and they are the guys who make Squad.
Oh, I've heard good things about Squad.
Interesting. Hey, Jim. We've had many discussions about this.
What's that? Oh, Squad?
About Squad. Yeah, I like that game.
I've heard it's excellent.
Yeah, it's like Arma for people who hate shitty Arma.
That is the definition of squad.
Oh, really?
That is very, very on point. It's like, yeah, the guys who created it, they were like, it is like Arma and like a little bit like Battlefield, but not. Like, remove the shitty parts and just leave the fun.
Yeah, I know some people that's almost all they play is squad. Like, they have like dedicated a group they play with, and they play regularly.
Well, on squad as the name kind of.
It's not a solo endeavor. Yeah, it's
no.
Not a,
you need a team to play that game. You definitely need some friends.
Right. I've heard nothing but good things about that game. And
but I'm not going to be working on squad specifically. I'm going to work on a different project. It's a new game that I can't tell about.
God damn it!
Call it fair enough. Call it Star Squad. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You guys are going to fucking love this, but I'm not going to say anything.
Oh god damn it!
Well, come back when you have something to
if
show.
it's
please let us know. Yes.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Have you played? Speaking of Star Squad, have you played Angels Fall First?
I've seen videos of that game, but I did not play it.
Oh, visit more current videos.
It's excellent.
Much has changed.
It's excellent.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's
it just needs the player. Luckily, it hasn't. It can put enough bots in there that you could go in solo and still feel like you're playing with a full game of people, and the bots aren't terrible.
It's actually like the true. It's like the true not predecessor. Follow up to Battlefront. Successor,
Battlefront, right? That's why.
It feels a lot like an actual successor to the original Battlefront 1 and 2. Not like whatever the hell.
Actually, I'm gonna buy it right now.
Oh, yay! No, great, because it is a great game.
Yeah, we'll play it with you.
It is a great game. We've streamed it. We love it. I think one of the developers does hang out in our Discord. We are big fans of that game. So
nice.
That is also fun stuff. Folks, if you haven't played Angels Fall First, that's a great game. So we could probably start wrapping things up because I hate to say this, I'm falling asleep like right now. I got no sleep last night, so we should probably start wrapping this up if y'all don't mind. I'll
just toss out a quick question.
Okay.
Do you have plans to toss in any sort of Easter eggs, like hidden pickups that you can find in a level?
Nice.
Yeah.
That give a weapon that you wouldn't normally get.
I might or might not be doing that already.
Fair enough.
I'm not going to say anything else because then it wouldn't be an Easter egg.
Oh no, that sounds great. So folks, the game is Nightstar Rogue Wings. It is currently on. How much is it going for? I don't remember.
It is selling. Yeah, it's selling actually for $9.99.
$9.99.
Right? Yeah, $10. It is a quick action, arcadey, space and
Rogue
planetary Rogue Squadron like game that is. Even in this early form, really fun. Really just pick up and play. Gobs of fun. Very explosive. You really feel like a badass flying this fighter, which is really nice because like so many games start you off in like this little dinky like pea shooter thing, but this game actually has weight to it. It's really great. So yeah, definitely check that out. So what's coming up? I think Thursday we have Borderlands. Yeah, Borderlands 2 is... I'm sorry, folks. I'm really losing it right now, so I'm trying to keep it together. Borderlands 2 is on Thursday, and then next week, I think... Yeah, next week is an early show, but yeah, because we're talking to the developer of Helium Rain, as Spaz said. And if you guys haven't played that, we love this game. We
even have a sub-channel for it. So
yeah,
yes.
we have. It has its own text channel. Because we talk to the developer all the time. We love that guy.
We think about it. We touch ourselves.
we really do love that game. We're very excited. I don't know if Jim or Hunter, if you guys can make it. It's an early morning show because he's overseas. If you guys can, that's awesome. I should be there. I know you'll be there because you can always always make the early shows, which I appreciate. Oh, Hunter, that'd be great. So yeah, folks, thank you so much for listening. Oh, right. Bruno gave us 2 keys to give away.
Oh yeah.
We both
that is true.
Totally forgot about that. I've been trying to think of how to do it. And I don't want to limit it to just the folks that have been listening tonight. I think I want to run like a general contest. Do you like, if you could run a contest, Bruno, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What would you do to give these keys away? Man.
I don't really know. I never did this before.
Yeah, contests are tough. Like the last one I did was like, just sign up for my YouTube channel and that was and tell me you did it. And that was easy. Contests are tough because you got to keep track of people who enter and stuff. So
yeah,
I'm gonna think of something fun to give these keys away. But yeah, folks, stay tuned for that. I'm trying to think of something fun to give these two keys away for this this game, Nightstar Rogue Wing. So stay tuned for that. I'll have that up in the next day or two. And hopefully a couple of lucky winners will get a free copy of your game. So stay tuned for that. So, yeah. So yeah, Bruno, thank you for taking the time to join us. The game again, Nightstar Rogue Wings. It is a lot of fun. If the video didn't convince you that this is a ton of fun, because it is a ton of fun.
Like seriously, if you enjoyed Rogue Squadron at all, like at any bit, you will like this game.
Oh, and you're about to release a demo. You're about to release a demo too, right?
Yes, there is a demo coming out really soon.
I like this game, and I hated Rogue Squadron.
Oh, damn!
Wow!
Damn!
I mean,
trash talking.
Dislike it. I just straight hated it.
Oh, Memory Leak Death says force people to watch Star Trek Discovery for the contest. I'm like,
yeah. That's kind of a good.
That's
one.
cruel.
Rogue
That's
Squadron
mean.
is where
That's mean.
Whenever Star Fox fans go to hell, they make them play Rogue Squadron.
Oh man! Damn. We're gonna get
It's
mail.
a product of its time. It was
for the
was
first
great
time
back then, but I can't do it now.
For the first time, we're probably gonna get mail. Like we never get mail. For the first time, we might get some mail.
That's right. Send nude.
No, do not. Anyway, thank you so much for watching.
Ramen.
What?
We'll give whoever can send us like the biggest case of ramen.
Send noodles.
The shrimp one.
The
shrimp one. If you have to send ramen, send the shrimp one. That's the best one. So definitely send the shrimp one. Those things are terrible for you. I didn't know that. Those things are so bad for you. Those ramen packets. They're like full of salt. They will kill you. Seriously.
Yeah, it is pretty terrible.
Yeah, they're awful for you. Oh my god, I had no idea.
Well, the ancient Tibetans used to actually mummify themselves alive by eating ramen.
Oh my god!
And that's why they have perfectly preserved monks.
I believe it. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching and listening, and stay tuned for the contest where we'll be giving away keys for this. And we'll see you either Thursday or next Tuesday. Have a great one, folks. Bye-bye.